Alright, good on Ottawa, trading for a good Markham kid, Jeff Skinner, bringing him back to his hometown. There you go, Don Cherry loves it. That's my Don Cherry impersonation. We got a lot of people in the comments fighting for jobs within the Ottawa Senators organization. But Johnny Fontaine just straight up says, I'm going to be the equipment manager for the next 5 seasons, $50K per season, pretty cheap. He just told me what he's doing, told me what he's getting paid, and he's like, alright, I'll see you Monday. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to your Ottawa Senators franchise mode. We're here at the trade deadline, a few days away, 3 days away from the 26th. In the last episode, we got a few pretty interesting moves, but what was even more interesting is that we were a legitimate team before going into February. We were comfortably in a playoff spot, but I don't know what happened of late. We lost quite a few games. Ever since we lost 8-2 to the Carolina Hurricanes, morale has been down. We've only won 1 game since then, and that was in overtime against the Jets. But speaking of the Jets, that could be a potential trade partner for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over a few comments while we simulate all the way up to the 26th. I just want to see potentially whether there's going to be 1 or 2 more trades. So there's one right here. Okay, so this is really not what I was expecting. Brady Tkachuk for a first, Robert Thomas, and a second. That's not a bad deal, but I really don't think we should move our best prospect. So I'm going to respectfully decline. We're going to hopefully get 1 more trade. It's for a goalie, which is good, but I mean, Craig Anderson and Cam Talbot, I'd say Cam Talbot's probably a little bit better because he's younger, but giving up a second and Tyconic for a 32-year-old goalie, that just really doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me. And of course, we lose that game. So 30, 25, and 7. We're slowly watching the playoffs fade away from us. We're 3-7-0 in our last 10, so maybe it is time to make a move. Now, everyone in the comments was saying, I was yelling at my TV for you not to accept that Skinner trade. Take the Skinner trade. What are you doing? With all that being said, there's the Skinner trade, there's the trade that involves Brian Boyle, which involves us getting a ton of cap off our books, which is something I definitely want to do. But we got 2 comments here from Daniel Jackson, one of the higher-up assistant GMs. He says, with Jersey offering you Boyle for basically deadweight contracts, see if you can get them to take the contract of either Gabrick or Ryan and MacArthur instead of Mikhail Bodker. Alright, I see you. He said, I would also take the Buffalo they offered you with CC and Dzingel for Skinner and BEAULIEU. Try to swap Bodker with Dzingel and try to keep Dzingel for the second line. That seems to be a popular opinion. Also, with White tearing it up, make sure he's on the power play. Alright, so that's all good and dandy. The next comment here comes from Seattle Storm Bears GM mode legend, director of hockey operations, Brandon Barenfeld. He says, I would definitely not trade Dzingel. He's your leading point scorer at the moment and he could grow a few overalls. However, I would pursue Jeff Skinner and a first for this year. Maybe do Bodker and CC for Skinner and BEAULIEU, and if possible, maybe include MacArthur in the trade. As for the first round pick, might have to part ways with a guy like Duchene, worst case scenario. Logan Brown is listed as a 4th liner, so he's ready to play right now. Let him get some NHL experience and maybe he can grow a little bit better. So the popular opinion seems to keep a guy like Ryan Dzingel. So a lot of you guys want him to stay on the squad. Now he's 26 years old. I don't know how much he is going to grow, but there's no denying he's having a great year. And I wouldn't mind hanging on to him, but I don't know if we could get this trade done without Ryan Dzingel. So basically, they want to give us Jeff Skinner and Nathan Beaulieu in exchange for Mikhail Bodker and Ryan Dzingel. So I'm going to see if I could get Skinner for Cody Ceci. So the trade value is a little bit off, but it's okay. We're going to go ahead and add Cody Ceci in there because we're getting Nathan Beaulieu back, so remember that. So we send Cody Ceci and we potentially send Mikhail Bodker, who is not terrible. He's honestly not having that bad of a year. He's actually doing pretty well for what he is, but his contract isn't the worst. His contract's not terrible. He's got 2 years left at $4 million. It's a lot, but it's really not terrible. For a 40, maybe 50 point guy, depending on how we finish off the year, it's really not that bad. Now, if I can get them to take on the contract of Bobby Ryan, that's another story. But again, he's not having that bad of a year either. Even if he's going to finish the year with close to 60 points, is $7.2 million for the next 4? Is that really worth it? I'm really not too sure about that. So again, with all this being said, I'm going to try to make the trade go through without Ryan Dzingel. And I don't think Nathan Beaulieu is going to be much worse than Cody Ceci. I think Cody Ceci's 80 overall, and I think Nathan Beaulieu is like, oh wow, he's actually 79. So we're really not losing that much here. Plus he's making less money. We got to throw in a third and Mikhail Bodker to upgrade to Jeff Skinner, which is quite an upgrade, who's got 53 points on the year in 61 games. Could have like a 65-70 point campaign if we really start to rip it up at the end of the year. So I'm comfortable with something like this, and then we can go to New Jersey and maybe offload the Clark MacArthur contract, because that's something that they offered us, which was kind of crazy. So if I could get this done, that would be awesome. I'm going to try it with a fourth because Cody Ceci actually has a surprising amount of trade value. So I'm going to see if it'll go through with a fourth. It's going to be a fourth for next year because I believe we have a few fourths. Yeah, so we'll give them LAs because it's worth more. So let's go a fourth, Mikhail Bodker and Cody Ceci for 2 players who have 1 year left on their deal, but we're getting a ton of money off the books. Will this trade go through? No. Okay, so let's add a third, and I think that should make it go through. That's not really a ton to pay when you think about how good Jeff Skinner actually is. So Jeff Skinner, are you coming to Ottawa? Trade rejected. So they really seem to want Ryan Dzingel. All right, so what if I made it a third and a fourth? All right, so does that really cover what Dzingel's worth? A third and a fourth. The trade value looks pretty even. You guys want all 3 of these pieces. You don't want Cody Ceci, but I'm throwing it in there anyways. Trade rejected. Yeah, they really don't want Cody Ceci. They said you're a little bit off. So what if I sacrificed the Pittsburgh third from this year? 2/3, Bodker and Cody Ceci. I feel like this should get it done. Trade accepted. There you go. On behalf of the Buffalo Sabres organization, I accept your trade offer, and we'll see you out on the ice. Boys, I think we absolutely stole. Okay, hold on. Bobby Ryan's upset for trading a quality player? You're upset? And you're not even excited about getting Jeff Skinner back? So let me get this straight. You guys are upset that Bodker's gone, but you aren't excited about a young, talented 50-point player right now? Oh my God, you guys need to get your priorities straight. Now, I think if we hold on to a guy like Ryan Dzingel, that pretty much ruins our chance at getting a first-round pick, which again isn't the worst thing. Cody Ceci was kind of our ticket to a first-round pick, but now that Jeff Skinner is into the equation, now he's officially on the team, had to pay 2/3. I was willing to go a third and a fourth. Really, it's not that much extra to pay. Now let's go check out the New Jersey Devils, because they offered us Brian Boyle, which might not make the trade work because Mikhail Bodker was in that deal, but now he's obviously off to Buffalo. Bodker or Bodker, whatever it is, he's not on the team anymore. Where is Brian Boyle? Actually, I probably passed him. Brian Boyle. No, he's way down here. Oh, so I guess they traded him. Okay, they must have traded him because he's no longer on the team. Yeah, so I guess they must have traded him like within the last couple of days. At this point, Clark MacArthur pretty much has negative trade value. I mean, for some reason, Marian Gabourik's stoked. I mean, wait, you know what? How can you not be stoked? You're making $4.8 million and you really have no expectations. I would absolutely love to move a contract like Marian Gaborik. Who's a team that has a ton of cap space? I would literally give him up for practically nothing. If we get rid of Marian Gaborik, maybe we'll bring up Logan Brown. We'll see. Who has a ton of cap space here? So, or is there any like rookie skaters that you just want to give up on? Anyone kind of young? Ty Ronning. Oh man, could you imagine if I traded for Ty Ronning straight up? Can struggle with professionalism, but cares about winning. Yeah, because he's a beauty. He's the biggest beauty in the entire NHL. He doesn't got to be professional. Would that even go through? Ty Ronning for Marian Gaborik. You know what? I'm going to keep Ty Ronning as a Storm Bear legend. If there's a situation where he is available down the road, maybe we'll think about it. But for right now, we're going to leave him as a Seattle Storm Bear legend. A Bruins 7th. Will this go through for Marian Gaborik? Trade rejected. All right, well, That's not going to work out, is it? A few teams actually seem to want Marian Gaborik. I just don't know what it's going to take. Like, he pretty much has negative trade value. That's the problem. I can't even get a 7th for him. So what can I do to get rid of this freaking contract? What if I ate $2 million bucks? Or we're going to eat a little bit more cap here, and we're just going to get a 7th. So you're basically getting him for 2.8. Trade rejected. Yeah, I just don't know if I can even make this deal go through. All right, a 7th from Minnesota. Will that go through? That even seems like a lot. Maybe we'll have to pay to get this guy off the team. So I'm giving you a 4th. I'm eating $2 million for your 7th. Trade rejected. Yeah, so it says it wasn't even enough, even if they had to absorb the contract of Marian Gaborik. So we're really gonna have to beef up our offer here, give them something that's actually worth their time. I don't want to give up a guy like Bergman. I don't want to give up anyone that's going to be, you know, potentially an NHL player for us. What about this guy? 73 overall, minor top 4, potentials at AHL top 2 is pretty accurate. Just taking on their worst player here. Will this go through? Trade rejected. Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. I'd probably have to pay like a 2nd to even get someone to take on this contract. So it is what it is, and I don't think it's really super realistic for us to trade Clark MacArthur since he is on LTIR in real life. Maybe we'll come back to this at the draft, but acquiring Jeff Skinner was huge. Now, again, we miss out on the 1st round pick, but we get to keep a player like Ryan Dzingel, which is awesome. So I'm thinking I might just go something like, we're going to go like this. Thomas Yurko is going to go play there with Dzingel and Bobby Ryan, and then we have a legitimate first line with Mark Stone, Matt Duchene, who is still who still has 1 year left on his contract, might want to think about inking him up. And then we got Jeff Skinner, again, who has 1 year left on his deal, but I'm thinking about re-signing him right now. I'm thinking of calling him into the Canadian Tire Center, maybe have a little one-on-one meeting, a few of you guys in there with me, and we're going to work out some sort of a contract negotiation. Nathan Beaulieu is finally going to get some NHL ice time. They scratched him over there in Buffalo, which is ridiculous. He slots nicely into our top 4, and then goaltending still is just the way it is. I'm actually going to take Weidman off the power play and put Nathan Beaulieu there. He's going from not getting any ice to getting lots of ice. 2nd line power play minutes, top 4. Welcome Nathan Beaulieu and welcome Jeff Skinner. So let's just remember that Jeff Skinner has 53 points before coming to our team. I want to see how many points he has in the 19 games he has remaining. He's got 53 points. I think he should end up with at least 65. Not getting a 1st round pick, I'm not going to lie, it does hurt. That was kind of my main goal. But now that we get to hang on to a guy like Ryan Dzingel, and you guys pointed out how important he is to the team, I think it's a good idea that we held on to Ryan Dzingel. Now, what does Jeff Skinner want? He wants $6 million bucks for 3 years. That seems pretty fair. Now, he doesn't want an extension, so I'm probably going to have to beef it up to like something like 6.5. But if we can keep this first line intact, that could be dirty. We could have a nasty first line. In spite of not wanting an extension, I'll give it some thought and get back to you fairly quickly. All right, all good. Now, Matt Duchene, I'm pretty sure he wants the exact same kind of cash. Yeah, 6.5. I wouldn't mind giving him matching contracts, honestly. Like, I would be totally okay with that. Exact same thing. And then Stone, obviously. Okay, Stone, we can offer a contract extension now. He doesn't want one either, but he could be making some big boy money. He's going to make 7.3 this year, so he's willing to take a bit of a pay cut. He wants 7 years, though. How about we do a 3-year contract at $7 million bucks, right? We each give those guys matching 3-year deals. Obviously, Stone's going to make $500,000 more. I don't know if he's going to take that. I just kind of want to see how it's going to work out. Who else do we have to re-sign? Ryan Dzingel as well is a guy that potentially is going to want a decent amount of money. Another 3-year deal at 3.65. Does he want an extension? He doesn't. So again, probably going to have to beef it up a little bit, 3.8. Again, I'm still pretty new to this extension thing, especially in the new game. I'm not quite sure how they're going to act towards it. So let's see if any one of those guys are going to sign with us. Colin White for Taylor Radish. No. I've already said no. Game number 1 with our new additions, Jeff Skinner. We got Thomas Yurko on the 2nd line. We got Nathan Beaulieu. We're going up against the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Washington Capitals. First period, we're down by 1. John Carlsson KARLSSON gets him on the board. Period number 2. All right, John KARLSSON gets his second. Will he get a hat trick? No, Matt Duchene scores, though. All right, so unfortunately, we lost in game number 1 with our new squad. Jeff Skinner did have an assist, which is good news. Our entire first line got on the score sheet, but I'm not too sure what's going to happen with these guys. I would like them to re-sign, but I don't really know if it's going to happen. So Jeff Skinner actually re-signed. That's awesome. So we traded for him. Boom. We immediately inked him to a 3-year contract worth $6.5 million. He's here for the next 3 years. Jeff Skinner, welcome aboard. Matt Duchene said no. All right, but Mark Stone said yes. All right, beauty. There you go. Ryan Dzingel said no as well. So maybe we got to work on Matt Duchene and Ryan Dzingel at the draft. Maybe in the re-sign stage, we're going to have to beef it up a little bit, which is fine. We got Jeff Skinner and we got Mark Stone inked up for the next 3 years, which is awesome. I was actually pretty concerned that we weren't going to be able to re-sign those guys, but I feel like that's a pretty realistic thing to happen. You trade for a guy, kind of like the Pacioretty thing. You trade for a guy like Pacioretty or Jeff Skinner, and immediately you ink them to a contract within 1 or 2 days. I think that's awesome. Boom, there you go, Jeff Skinner. Welcome to Ottawa. All right, so a few more trades here that happened. Looks like Calgary acquired a first and a third and Al Montoya for Mike Smith. Okay, 100% Calgary wins that trade 8 days a week. Holy crap. Looks like the Minnesota Wild acquired a second and Chris Kunitz for a second, a third, and a goalie prospect. The Golden Knights acquired Jan Ruda and a fifth for Pierre-Edouard Bellemare and Oscar Lindberg. That's a big move. And then there's our trade right there. Cody Ceci, Mikhail Bodker, and 2/3 for Skinner and Nathan Beaulieu. What do you guys think about that move? Was that the right move to make? I feel like there was really a few options, but I think I went with the best one. I really do. I feel pretty good about that move. I'm pretty pumped on that. So let's go here. Let's get some simulation done with our new squad. See if we can win some games. Boom, we beat Mike Smith and the Edmonton Oilers, and we are on a 3-game streak. Plan the parade. We're going to take a close watch on the playoff race as well. Oh my God, 7-0 loss to the Bruins. Ouch. That hurts, and we go on a bit of a losing streak here. All right, so we got a Hockey Night in Canada matchup here. The Battle of Ontario, Toronto versus Ottawa. Let's go. Don Cherry's on the screen. All right, good on Ottawa. Trading for a good Markham kid, Jeff Skinner, bringing him back to his hometown. There you go. Don Cherry loves it. That's my Don Cherry impersonation. Let's go. First period, 0-0. Good old Hockey Night in Canada battle. Second period, all right, we got the lead. Jean-Gabriel Pageau, Mark Stone, and Austin Matthews going into the third, and we blow the lead. Matthews gets his second, and Zach Hyman gets one. Honestly, at this point with these losses of late, I think the playoffs are all but gonzo. So it's going to be really, really, really close. We basically need Montreal to shit the bed, and we need to pretty much win every single game from here on out. I mean, there's still a decent amount of hockey left, and we have 2 games against Buffalo, so I definitely want to slow sim those games. But honestly, every single game we need to win here. And we start off with 2 losses. Great start, fellas. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Perfect. Good stuff. Yeah, honestly, we're 10 points out at this point. I mean, obviously, you never want to completely say you're out of it, but it's going to take a miracle for us to make the postseason. But never say never. Jack Hughes here absolutely ripping it up. 75 points in 51 games. Jesus, he's going to be a beast. Now, again, we'll have a look at our picks here, potentially some of the players that our scouts think we should take as we look at the draft board. We'll have a look here going into the draft. We have a second, a third, a fourth, 2 fifths, a sixth, and 2 7th round picks. So they got a few people here. They got REECE Burgundy. That's a fantastic name. Nephew of Ron Burgundy. But Graham Clark, I remember we already looked at this guy. He's playing with Ottawa in the Ottawa 67s. That's kind of perfect. He is a 2-way forward. He's a right winger. Not having a fantastic year in the Ontario Hockey League, but he's only 17 years old. We haven't scouted this guy a whole lot, so he's in Ottawa. We'll go ahead and throw our scout out to him. Can I do that? Add to watch list. Now, does that mean I can go scout him from here? No, I can't. Okay, so I think I have to manually scout him or go scout specific players, which I will do. See what he's looking like. He's a 17-year-old offensive defenseman from Russia. The last Russian defenseman that Ottawa had, God, who would it be? Like Andrei Mazaros? Is he Russian? Maybe I'm missing someone. Trying to think of a Russian defenseman from Ottawa. I really can't think of anyone. REECE Burgundy here's 18, so he's a year older than all those other guys. His similar playstyle is Theo Fleury. Okay, REECE Burgundy, I like it. He's already been scouted quite a bit. So, I mean, I think that's kind of a good representation of who's going to be out there come our draft pick. Our forward depth chart really isn't that great. Our defensive depth chart is a little bit better at a D-, and then goalie depth chart looking at an E. So my goal is to have all those at B in 3 years. That's my goal. We're going to get a ton of prospects. We're going to draft smart. We're going to trade smart. I want to get that up to at least a B. All right, at least a B. So we're going to go through here. Let's just, pray and hope that we can win games, especially against Edmonton. And we don't. Edmonton has a brutal record, 28-42-5. So we're just making that Colorado pick look that much better. Here against the Buffalo Sabres, the first time that Cody Ceci is going to be suiting up for another team against Ottawa. And we got Jeff Skinner's return to Buffalo. Even though it wasn't a long stint with Buffalo, just looking like under a half a year, which is kind of crazy. But first period, let's go. And it's a 2-1 game. Ryan Dzingel and Mark Stone. Vladimir Sobotka gets them on the board going into the second. All right, lots of goals. Colin White and Marian Gabrick. Love me some Colin White. What a beast. So a couple of rookies get on the score sheet here. Casey Middlestat and Colin White. I know Casey Middlestat was right on Colin White's tail for the Calder Trophy, right behind Andrei Svechnikov. But Reinhart and Marian Gabrick, can we hold the lead? Oh my God, of course we blow it. Going into overtime, and we get the OT winner, and it's Zach Smith. What's a fourth liner doing out there in overtime? I love it. Absolutely. There you go. Beautiful. Looks like nothing from Skinner, nothing from Nathan BEAULIEU, but we got another game against them in a little under a week. We shut out the Leafs 2-0 on Hockey Night in Canada. A lot of overtime losses, actually. We have 11 on the year, and Buffalo has 12, actually. So one more game against Buffalo. Last time it was in our home arena. This time we're in the First Niagara Center, Buffalo, New York. First period. We're down by 1. Jason Pominville going into the second. Jeff Skinner, there you go, on his old team. Going into the third, another overtime game. The first line centers get it done. Eichel and Duchene. Another overtime game, and Zach Smith again for the second time in a little over a week. Zach Smith beats Buffalo in overtime. That is awesome. Attaboy, Zach Smith. You're quickly becoming a legend. You love to see that. That's awesome. And the last game of the year. You know we're not making the playoffs at this point. At least let's go out with a victory. There you go, 4-1. Against a team in Columbus who really wasn't that great. But look at Belleville. 29, 36, and 8. Were they not like 20-9 or something? Am I missing this? I'm going to have to go back and look because I feel like their record was really good. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just imagining it, but I feel like they had a way better record than what they had. It looks here, I'm looking at the video, and they were 24, 26, and 7. So maybe they started off really hot, but they obviously were not that great. So that's my bad. But let's see where we finished. How far out were we actually? So yeah, we're 11 points out. I mean, we really, really had a good shot there coming into the new year, and January was terrible to us. At one point we were 27 and 18 or something. So coming into the new year, we're doing great. We're winning a lot of hockey games, beating a lot of really good teams. And then after this 8-2 loss against Carolina, we never really recovered. It was really weird. A lot of overtime losses. I mean the pity point kind of helped, but even then, we're just losing a lot of games 2-1. So, obviously it sucks losing out on the playoffs, but considering we didn't have really any expectations going into this year, I have to say it's a win. I would be a little bit more, not upset, but a little bit more, I guess upset would kind of be the word. If we did have that first round pick and we finished not a playoff team but so close, honestly, that pick to Colorado is going to be middle of the road. They had 94 points. They're in the playoffs, actually. They got that extra wild card spot, so they're in there in the Central Division. 94 points. So they're going to have 2 mediocre draft picks. And you know what? That's fine for me. Let's do a bit of a season recap here. Last time we checked in, Jeff Skinner had 53 points. 23 goals, 30 helpers. He had 19 games to play, or sorry, I guess 18 because he had 1 game extra. So he had 64 points, so he had 11 points in 18 games. It's not terrible. He had 7 goals. He hit 30 on the year, and he only had 4 helpers, so that's kind of interesting. But 64 points is not bad at all. Not bad. Is that a career high? It looks like it is. That is a career high for Jeff Skinner. So we got a guy for pretty much scraps. We signed him, and he has a career year. That's got to be a win in my books. Absolutely. That's a giant victory. 30 and 34. He was a +10 when he came over from Buffalo. He's now a +7. He had 15 power play points before coming over, and now he's got 19. So, you know what? That's great. I am stoked that we acquired Jeff Skinner. 30 goals, the 4th time he's hit that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he's hit 30 goals 4 times. He's a legitimate scorer in this league. I'm pumped on that. Now, leading our team in scoring with 1 extra point was Mark Stone, 65 points. We all knew he was going to be the team leader in points. Again, that is a career high. So, I mean, you can think of how quote-unquote bad of a year we had, but coming in, we had no expectations. We set career highs in points for a few guys. That's awesome. Erik Karlsson kind of found his own as well. He was struggling throughout the first 20 games, but ever since we seemed to hire head coach Daniel Alfredsson, Erik Karlsson really seemed to be pumped up about that. 62 points matches his total for last year, but he had 19 goals. What a great year for Erik Karlsson, and we have him inked for a long time. Ryan Dzingel setting a career high. Talk about career highs, 52 points. That's awesome. Now he's 81 overall. I'm not sure he's going to grow that much, but for 52 points, I mean, that's awesome. And look at Colin White. Holy, 27 goals, 52 points. And that was going to stick this guy in the minors. Come on. What a rookie year. That's unbelievable. Bobby Ryan put up a respectable amount of points. It wasn't like he did anything crazy, but 52 points, that's the most he's had since 2015. I mean, that's fine. For what it is, it's fine. 7.4 million is crazy, but 52 points, I'm okay with that. Matt Duchene seemed to struggle a little bit. Maybe taking those 2 firsts wouldn't have been a bad idea from Nashville, but 52 points isn't terrible. He went down to an 85, actually. Jean-Gabriel Pageau had 50. Marian Gaborik had 33. Zach Smith, double overtime winner. He had 26. Thomas Yurko, 8 goals, 23 points in 49 games. That's not bad for a random free agent acquisition. I'm pretty cool with that. And then Thomas Chabot, hopefully he's growing a little bit. He has grown to an 83, which is good to see. Magnus Pajärvi had 17. Cody Franzen had 15. And where's Nathan Beaulieu? He had 5 points in 20 games. Man, you cannot hate on that. That's pretty solid. Gabe from The Office had 4 points. What a nice guy. If we just would have played a little bit better coming out of the new year, we would be in the postseason. It sucks that we're so close. But Craig Anderson, 28-22, 7 overtime losses. I don't really think you can blame it on one particular player. I just think having the players we had, having the team we had, we did pretty damn good for what we were given. But Brady Tkachuk, 71 points, 38 goals. Should he play in the NHL next year? I don't know, man. He's putting up a pretty damn good case to do so. I mean, he's listed as a 4th liner, so you could see Logan Brown and Brady Tkachuk in the National Hockey League next year. We could have a pretty young, pretty talented team here come next year, which is awesome. Anyone else I want to look at? I want to see that defensive prospect. There he is, Jonathan Bergman. He's 75 overall, so I don't know if he's ever going to become anything, but he could. He very well could. Medium top 6. He's still got lots of potential. There's still lots of time for this guy. Just for laughs, let's see who led the AHL. Oh man, Oliver Wahlstrom. Obviously, he's going to get the trophy because he had 2 more goals than Brady Tkachuk. I don't know what the trophy's called in the American Hockey League for having the most points, but Damn, there he is. All right. Justin Bailey with 69 points. Alexander Nylander with 65. Robbie Schremp, what's up, buddy? If you guys want to see something crazy, look up Robbie Schremp shootout highlights. Guy has hands for days. I remember when Robbie Schremp was drafted, I believe he was like a first-round pick. Yeah, 25th overall by Edmonton in 2004. I remember playing road hockey and being like, oh, here comes Robbie Schremp on a breakaway and doing like 15 stick handles. I remember that. That's kind of weird. Now he's some washed-up AHL player. But anyways, it's kind of interesting. Let's see who led the NHL in points. I know Evgeny Malkin was killing it, and he continued to kill it. 93 points. 92 for Nathan MacKinnon. Mikko Rantanen with 91. Damn. Tyler Seguin with 90. So 4 players with 90 or more points. The NHL's in pretty good hands. Anyone I'm surprised to see up this high? Brad Marchand, not really. Bergeron, Kessel, Ovechkin. Wayne Train, 81 points. That's awesome. Didn't really expect to see him up this high. Where's McDavid? Brock Besser, what a beauty. 22 years old, 78 points. You'll love to see that. Crosby and McDavid had the exact same amount of points. I think Ovi led in goals. He did, 57. Now, who got the Calder Trophy? That's what I'm interested in. Very interested to see that. But here's what the goalies are looking like. 9 shutouts for Matt Murray. Guy's a freak. Let's see who led in defensemen just for fun. Is it Erik Karlsson? Oh, wow. Look at Tyson Barrie. Holy shit. But look at Drew Doughty. 79 points. That's big boy money, and he's playing like it. 79. Wow. And then Erik Karlsson is way down here with 62. Seattle Storm Bear legend Oliver Ekman-Larsson. It was actually weird for me to see OEL's face and not see the green logo next to him. That was kind of funny. All right, rookie skaters. I know it was between Svechnikov, Middlestat, and Colin White. All right, so, okay, so you know what? Unfortunately, I think it's going to go to Svechnikov. Colin White had a great year, but 30 goals, 59 points for a 19-year-old. Yeah, he's definitely winning the Calder Trophy. Casey Middlestat had a pretty good rookie campaign as well. Here's how Rasmus Dahlin did. He ended up with 17 points, minus 15 on not a very good team over there in Buffalo. So definitely a bright spot there. Rookie goalies, just for fun. Let's see here. Jack Campbell. All right, nothing super crazy. You know, I was going to end the video right here, but let's actually go all the way to the end of the postseason. Why not? Let's make this a little bit longer here. Why the hell not? Why would I end it right before the playoffs? You guys want to know who's going to win, of course. So here's what the playoff tree is looking like. I'm going to make a bet. I'm going to say in the finals, it's going to be... I'm going to go with the obvious choice here. It's going to be... I think I'm going to go with the obvious choice in the West. I'm going to say the Winnipeg Jets. And I'm also going to say, you know, let's go for Toronto. All right, let's go for our province brother. Let's go for Toronto. Toronto and the Winnipeg Jets in the Stanley Cup Finals. That's my prediction. Imagine 2 Canadian teams in the Stanley Cup Final. Crazy. The Boston Bruins are your Year 1 Stanley Cup champions. Damn. All right, looks like that first line was a little bit too much to handle. That's awesome. I'm glad the Bruins won because they have a sick first line, obviously. Zdeno Chara gets another cup. I assume he's going to retire. So the Bruins, Stanley Cup champions. All right, let's see how it all unfolded. So I guess my prediction went all to shit. And yeah, I guess so. It looks like Winnipeg got bounced in the second round. Then it was Colorado and Boston. So the Bruins swept the Leafs. Oh my God, Leaf fans, I'm so sorry. After they swept the Habs, they get swept. Wow, so the Bruins actually cleaned up. They got rid of Toronto in 4. They got rid of the Capitals in 5. So the Avs have our first round pick and theirs. They're going to have not that very good of a pick. So that's good news for us, but I can't believe the Avs went all the way. Damn. Check out the awards here. I don't think that, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to win the Calder, but here's to hoping. So obviously, Colorado won the Clarence, and the President's Trophy went to Pittsburgh. Evgeny Malkin wins the Art Ross for the third time. Hart goes to Tarasenko. The Norris goes to Drew Doughty, obviously. It's actually going to be cool to see the Norris not go to Jacob Solani for once, which is going to be awesome. Tyler Seguin wins the Lady Byng. Svechnikov wins the Calder. It was a tight race, kind of like a Matthew Barzal, Brock Besser type thing. I mean, the guy with more points, the better player at this point, Andrei Svechnikov, wins the Calder. Congrats to Svechnikov. Conn Smythe goes to Tuukka Rask. All right, that's kind of cool. Connor Hellebuck wins the Vezina and the William M. Jennings, of course. Bill Masterton goes to Big Z. Frank J. Selke goes to Jonathan Toews. Ted Lindsay goes to Tarasenko. And Ovechkin wins his millionth Art Ross trophy. There you go. There it is. Boston Bruins, your year one Stanley Cup champions. Now, let's see how the draft lottery unfolded. Again, don't have a first round pick. I know, it sucks. So should we try to re-sign Duchene or maybe do like a sign and trade? And look at Buffalo. So Buffalo made a trade with the Sharks. What trade was that? Can I go back and look? Wow, they win the draft lottery by via a trade pick, and they have the 6th as well. So, wow. So Colorado gets the 11th. So it is a decent pick, actually. So Buffalo's going to end up with Jack Hughes. That's ridiculous. In our Seattle franchise, they had Jack Hughes as well, which is nuts. 92 points in 67 games. Yep, he's going first overall. All right, so in the next episode, we're going to go very deep into the draft, probably going to dedicate the entire video just to the draft because there's a lot to go through here. Maybe we want to take a guy like this who's considered a gem. Our scout really seems to like him, so we'll deal with that in the next episode. View retired players. This one's going to be a long video for you guys. Scotty Hartnell, Cullen, the big Z, Zdeno Chara goes out on top with a Stanley Cup. That's awesome. Here's just anyone else if you want to quickly glance. You can pause the video and have a look at their stats. Now, from our team, did anyone retire? I don't. Maybe, is there like anyone that's even eligible to retire? Like, is anyone even close to being old enough? I don't think so. Craig Anderson, maybe. So Mike McKenna, he's our AHL goalie. That's totally fine. Now, what goalies called it quits? Nicholas Backstrom. Wow, he's still playing crazy. Holmquist, McKenna, and this guy. Okay, so no one crazy. We didn't lose anyone off our roster. There's everyone that's eligible to become a scout, so maybe we can hire a guy like Mike McKenna, which is kind of cool. So yeah, you can do that here, which is kind of neat. We'll look into that in the next video. We'll edit the trade block, all that stuff. We're going to keep it the way it is. I'm going to take Zach Smith off here, and I'm going to throw Matt Duchene there, because since he rejected our contract extension, he's down to an 85. I don't really know if it's worth hanging on to a guy like Matt Duchene. Let me know what you think we should do in the next video. Should we sign and trade Matt Duchene? Should we let him walk? Should we try to offer him an extension right now? Can we even do that right before the draft? I think we can, actually. Which would be kind of cool to do. He doesn't want an extension, so we can do it. If we do, what kind of money should we give him? Or is it going to be like a sign and trade type thing? So again, I really need the assistant GMs here. Do we make any moves? Do we try to find a goalie? I think maybe in free agency it would be wise to find a tendy. Actually, what's our goaltending contract situation looking like? I should know this. So we got Craig Anderson for a few more years, 4.7 for the next 2 years, and Mike Condon. But Mike Condon's a pretty good backup. I'm not too worried about that. So like I mentioned, the draft will be an entire video in its own right, and then free agency and re-sign stage after. So thanks for watching. I will see you guys at the NHL entry draft.